Okay. Yeah, that was definitely pretty epic there. Oh, there's more cutscenes. Probably just
Do you
heading
think
out.
he'll be all right?
No.
Well, yes. Only time will tell. But I can certainly think of worse places to spend one's childhood. The Moats of Water are a fine people, and they will take good care of him.
Up by the Vare, Ultima spoke to me. He called Leviathan his most profaned fragment, and told me to redeem the sins that had laid him low.
Is that so? The sins of Wallius's ancestors were grave indeed. To force him to prime at so tender an age.
And to freeze him in time, that he might never know what it was to live.
Yet I doubt either of those crimes was the source of Ultima's displeasure. It was that the Icon's power had been put to another purpose than the one he intended. To him, Leviathan must have seemed an aberration.
Could that be why Ultima made no attempt to lead me to him? The fear that this profaned fragment might corrupt his vessel somehow.
Perhaps. Or perhaps he simply deemed Leviathan surplus to requirements. Having concluded that his vessel might be made to serve his purposes without the full sum of his power.
His purposes. There's no escaping them. Even here. Hidden away in Mysidia, the blessing of the crystals proved nothing but a prison. A prison into which Wallius was born, and from which freedom is hard won. If the world doesn't change, if we don't change it, he'll end up suffering the same fate as every dominant who came before him.
Then we must change it.
That we must.
And we shall.
Explain that, atheists. Trophy earned. Alright. Well. Oh, and there's other quests here. So yeah, there is a smidge more content with what you can do here, it certainly seems like. But yeah. So now that you've basically done every single main icon fight in the game, which one would you say is your favorite overall? It might be close between Leviathan and Bahamut, is what it might just be. They were both pretty good there, I would say. Both had some really cool levels of epicness. Like, Bahamut was the one where it's just like, let's just make this the most grandiose scale thing in the entire game, with the whole outer space thing and the crazy lasers and everything that was going on there. Whereas Leviathan was more grounded epicness in that, yeah, we're still staying on this planet and still just doing stuff here, but like in the most over-the-top epic kind of way possible. I don't know, it was definitely pretty cool. How much is this DLC again? Hold on, I gotta switch my input so that I have my computer screen in front of me rather than the game screen in front of me, and remind myself by just going to like the Steam version, because that's like the quickest, easiest thing for me to do. Oh yeah, and I closed Steam earlier when I was testing stuff out with Citra, and it wasn't reading my PlayStation 5 inputs properly because it was reading them as keyboard inputs, so I have to boot up Steam again. Overpriced, that's how much it is? Yeah. Like, let's see here. If I go to... I was looking for in my game is Final Fantasy 16, but then I gotta remember, like, oh yeah, it's not there. I'm playing it on PS5. But if I look here of Final Fantasy 16, and then with the DLC, it's in my queue, apparently. Yeah, so Rising Tide is $27. So all in all, this DLC that I've experienced here was about a $33.50 DLC. What would the price of that be in, like, the USD equivalent? Probably $25 if I had to guess. Like, for the bundle. I assume in USD they'd have this be $10 and this be $20, and then altogether be, like, $25. Like, I think that's what would make sense there. But yeah, so a $33 DLC. So that's nearly half the price of the game itself here. That's a little bit over half the... No, that's exactly half the price, is what that is. Well, not exactly when you consider the cent amount. It's 1 cent cheaper than, I believe, of half. $100 USD for the whole game with both DLCs. Yeah, so that can add up. And there is a lot of content in the base game. Like, you can get a lot of hours in the base game. So if we're looking at the DLC in terms of, like, raw amount of content, there's definitely nowhere near as much bang for your buck as in the main game. I did enjoy Echoes of the Fallen. I really enjoyed, like, the music and the atmosphere, trekking through that tower. It gives you some really OP things. And the final boss in it was really, really epic. I thought that the Omega Ionios was really cool there. The Rising Tide actually had more of a story going on. This one just had lore going on, whereas this one had, like, a minor story going on, is very much what it felt like. Like, not the most amazing, gripping, oh my goodness, out of this world story or anything like that, but one that does match the themes of the overall game, with, like, expectations being put onto those that have nothing to do with these expectations that people are putting onto them, and taking it to an extreme with it being a baby there. And it's like, okay, this is a story that is, like, very thematically fitting with the overall narrative, and so I find fitting. It might not be a story that I remember long term or anything like that, but it is thematically fitting with the overall story of Final Fantasy XVI, so it doesn't feel too out of place in it. And I really like how this one actually had a lot more, not just main content, but, like, a whole new proper area to explore, and then, like, other side quests and stuff like that that you can get to around here. So it is a little bit meatier. If you're thinking about, like, where you're putting your money in terms of, like, raw amount of hours you're getting out of it, it's not all that great. Like, I'm a firm believer that, like, the quality of the content is better than, like, the amount of hours that goes in. Like, believe you me, I'm so tired of, like, open world slop kind of games where it's like, oh yeah, this is gonna take you 100+ hours, and over half of that is just gonna be spent going from point A to point B across the vast open world. Like, and you spend so long in the one game that I would rather take shorter, linear, handcrafted, like, high-quality experiences over Padding Simulator, the video game, like I've experienced a few of over the past several years on the channel here, that I've gotten a little bit sick and tired of. So I kind of prefer that kind of approach, and I've always long said I prefer quality over quantity. Like, I'll look at something like Metroid Dread and be like, yeah, it might only be an 8-hour game, but I am willing to pay full price for that. Metroid Dread is a really dang good game. Like, that's a set of 8 hours that I really, really enjoyed. Like, sure, there might not be a lot of runtime in it, but it is, like, a really well-crafted experience. With Echoes of the Fallen, I feel like there wasn't a massive, massive ton of spectacle. I mean, like, the tower was pretty cool, but not, like, a massive ton that you can take in. Mostly just, in terms of the new stuff that it adds, it's just, here's a really cool dungeon, and a really cool final boss at the end, are the only things that felt, like, really cool, really valuable. I guess the mid-boss was kind of okay, of, like, the automaton and stuff, but that one didn't really make a lasting impression on me. The Omega Ionios definitely made a much more lasting impression on me. Whereas with this, there's a lot more to take in, what with, like, a new area of the world that is beautiful, just like the whole rest of the world. The whole ruins, the little dungeon to explore up there, and the super awesome boss battle at the end of that, and of course, like, the new icon boss battle, plus, like, the fact that you get, like, a new icon ability in this with Leviathan. So it feels like there's a lot more meat to it, and I mean, I guess it is double the price of the other one, so this would be the one that's meatier. So all in all, about, like, a 7-hour DLC experience altogether for $33. It was really good. I still think it's a bit pricey for what it is, and I'm still genuinely pissed off at the fact that it didn't go on sale. I was like, oh yeah, I'm in no rush to cover the DLCs here, so I'll just wait until, like, it's winter sale and stuff, and I'll pick it up during the winter sale. And it still pisses me off that this game was on sale, and this game plus DLC was on sale, but the DLC alone was not on sale. Like, so I just ended up paying full price for this. So I was a little bit ticked off about that they didn't put the DLC on any sale. So yeah, I'm a little bit ticked off about that. So I do think that does feel a little bit pricey. But just like with the main game, the spectacle is very much unparalleled, especially with the second DLC here with, like, the Leviathan fight. I feel like Final Fantasy 16 here in general has had probably the most flashy, epic, and just grand spectacle boss battles probably out of any video game I've ever played. And Leviathan did very much rise up to those standards. So I did very much enjoy that. But yeah, I definitely wouldn't have minded it taking a little bit longer and like exploring its story a little bit more. Like, again, I'm getting so tired of things that take super long, so I definitely don't mind things that are just quick and to the point. But you should also expect like a certain amount of playtime to like the amount of money that you're initially putting in, I feel like. So I feel like there could have been a little bit more. I do like how there is like more optional side content that you can do out of this, like the quests here, but yeah, it still feels a little bit pricey for paying $13.50 for a 3-hour DLC and then paying, what was that, like $26, $27 for a 4-hour DLC. It's like, okay, that's a smidge much, especially when you compare it to like the frame of reference of double the price of both DLCs being the main game, when the main game is as meaty as it is. So when you're using that as like your frame of reference for bang for your buck, it does very much feel then like you're getting the short end of the stick. If I'm using something like the Metroid Dread example, then it's like you don't really have like a DLC that you can compare to like the value of the main game. So it's like, if you're paying half of the price of the main game for the DLC, and it's like just such a tiny fraction of what the main game is, then you can tell that you're not really getting as much bang for your buck. But, so my biggest complaint is definitely like the price there. But overall, I honestly did really enjoy these DLCs. I definitely liked Rising Tide more than I did Echoes of the Fallen. It would be cool if there was like another section of the world for Echoes of the Fallen and like some side quests around like this as well. But Echoes of the Fallen was cool too, but this one was definitely a lot cooler. I think the Timekeeper and Leviathan will definitely make a lot more of an impression than the automaton when you enter the tower in Echoes of the Fallen and Omega Ionios at the end. Like, Omega Ionios was pretty cool, but not as much spectacle as Leviathan, and the automaton Dudo that I fought was definitely nowhere near as much spectacle as the Timekeeper. Like, the Timekeeper was actually, like, really epic and really challenging and just really cool. So, the bosses of this one definitely made a lot stronger of an impression, I would say, here. But yeah, let's see here. Omega Ionos give you Noah Prime vibes and Final Boss of Future Redeemed vibes? Yeah, like, I can absolutely see what you mean there. That's what I was saying when I was streaming that, was that I was getting, like, some kind of Astral Chain vibes with the environment there. And the environment is also kind of similar to, yeah, Final Boss of Future Redeemed. But yeah, probably no sale because PC version came out recently. Maybe. Like, because it came out so recently, so that's the only way to play it on PC, so that's what people would have to pay there, and they may as well keep it synchronized up and stuff. Because, yeah, it was just September that it came out on PC. I mean, they still marked down the main game itself just as much as they did with the PlayStation Store. And, I mean, it was April 2024 that the Rising Tide came out, I think, when I looked it up to put in, like, my video description and stuff. I think it was April 2024. And maybe they consider that a bit too recent still? I don't know. But I am kind of glad that I didn't play this game right at launch. I'm now playing it later so that I can go right from main story, except for Final Boss, DLCs, and then Final Boss in that order, as opposed to, like, going back and doing the DLCs so much later. So I get to experience it all right now, you could say. So I definitely kind of like that. But yeah, I'll probably go on sale next holiday. Yeah, there's probably a good chance of that. Maybe add a bit more main DLC story content to it. Yeah, definitely wouldn't have minded that. I would say it's bad, though, just should have been more to lengthen it out. Or be cheaper, is what I would like. Would you prefer more? Omega Ionios or Timekeeper? Okay, so comparing the final boss of one to the second last boss of the other. While Omega Ionios was really cool, I feel like there was also a lot of spectacle that came with the Timekeeper. And Timekeeper was also... It also had story connections that this is what you had to defeat to, like, undo the whole timey-wimey thing, Bob. Whereas with Omega Ionios, it's like, there's the crystal, and here's one last challenge that the tower throws at you, which I guess you could say is story-connected then as well. But it's like, it didn't feel as necessary to be there. Whereas with that, it's like, okay, yeah, there would very obviously be something that's, like, maintaining that spell, and it feels a lot more connected to the story. I think the Omega Ionios fight I was getting less frustrated with, because while both were hard, I could, and despite a lot of things going on during both, I had a better sense of what was going on during Omega Ionios. While the Timekeeper fight was really epic, I do have a big complaint about it just being really genuinely hard to tell what was happening with, like, so many of the particle effects happening constantly. Like, I felt like I was getting flashbanged during that boss, and I would start to panic and just start spam dodging because I literally couldn't see what was happening because there was just so much ice explosions all over the place. So while it was really epic, I feel like the particle effects could have been toned down a little bit. It's kind of like with the initial version of Promised Consort Radahn in Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree, where people complained about, like, during Phase 2, like, the flashing effects were so much and they couldn't tell what was going on, and so they had to, like, reduce the amount of flashing effects just because players couldn't see. I feel like that's what that boss could have used, like, a very similar situation where it's just so many flashy effects that I literally couldn't see what was happening. So I had a better sense of what was going on with Omega Ionios, and I think that Timekeeper could have been a little bit better designed on that front. But apart from that, I thought that he was really cool. And like the little pockets of slowing time and stuff like that, that would make me panic, because all of a sudden I was slow and I have to get out of there and try not to dodge any other time slowing pockets. Stuff like that was really cool. Like, Timekeeper did a lot of really cool things. Like, off the top of my head, I mean, Timekeeper is also the more recent thing, so that's like the thing that's more in the forefront of my memory now. I remember Omega Ionios going really crazy on the lasers towards the end, but I can't think of, like, a single attack that really wowed me. Whereas Timekeeper has stuff that's going to make an impression, like the freezing time and the time slowing areas and stuff like that. We'll see if I think about that long term. I don't know if I could name one over the other, but there's my comparisons of the two. Background of Omega Ionios was really cool. And also Walker Pipe Guy raiding with a party of 2, but the alert isn't showing up yet, and there it is! There it be. I greatly appreciate the raid there, Walker Pipe Guy. How'd the stream go? And what were you just streaming? What kind of video game was it? Blue Shell Genshin raid. I assume it was Genshin Impact then? In that case, how's it going? I hope this stream went well. Welcome on into Final Fantasy 16. My goal with this stream was to do DLC 2 start to finish, and I just wrapped it up, so I was just talking about, like, my impressions with the second DLC of this game. And generally, it's like, I enjoyed it, it was really good, but it's a little smidge on the pricey side, is what I'm feeling here. Genshin, we just wrapped up a character story, nice. I've never played Genshin, so I don't know, like, how that all works or how long a character story takes. I know I have a little cousin that, I don't know if she still does, but at least used to play a lot of Genshin Impact, was the case, so she would definitely know all about it, but I don't really know all that much. I do know about the music, though. I listen to a lot of the music of it, because I think the music of it is amazing, but I don't really get into freemium games, so I don't really know much about it, though. And what do I need to catch up on here? Find it funny how the whole Timekeeper thing being Shiva related, because it's ice, which is basically frozen water, and they had time mixed in with it. Yeah, I thought that was, like, an interesting kind of thing where it's like, okay, like, it's one of those things where the rules are whatever they say, but okay, I can see the kind of parallels and fun that they'd have with this being the excuse for it. But yeah, I remember too much was going on with Omega Ionios. Yeah, there was a lot going on, but at least I could tell kind of what was happening for the most part. It was a lot harder to tell with some of the later stuff with Timekeeper, I will definitely say. But yeah, welcome on in everyone from Walker Pipe Guy's stream. Welcome to me just rambling about Final Fantasy now. I was just gonna go accept these quests just so that they're in my inventory. And then I might go do the super boss is what I might go do. It is 12:52 in the morning right now. Is kind of the case. But I might just do that here. Just get these in my inventory.
My lord.
And if they're like some sort of fetch quest that I can do as I explore around, then great, they're done. If you want me to go do something specific, then you're out of luck. But there's no reason to not have these in my inventory. So I may as well.
But before we get to that, would I be right in thinking Lady Shula told you about the witch from the north?
Maybe.
Yes. She said that your ancestors found her here, and that it was she who taught them the
So
spell
yeah,
to
we're
stop
just
time.
kind of getting a couple
She was
quests
like
in,
Wales,
and
you
then
know?
maybe try out the
Done
super boss. I'm gonna have to Google where it is.
Wouldn't have
I'll give
asked.
it an attempt or two tonight.
My
Why not?
great-grandmother suspected as
I'll put on my
much.
GDP DLC stuff
She
again,
cared
though,
for
I
a poor
think.
woman when her end was near. And it was she whose duty became to attend her grave. A duty that was passed down to me.
I see. And the service you would beg of me?
Well, until recently, the path to the grave had long been blocked by a fallen tree. But when our woodsmen
gonna be
finally
enemies to
found
kill.
time to move it, we quickly realized it might have been better had they not.
Okay, now that I open Steam, it's like
On trying
continuing to
clear the
flash
rest of the
orange,
path,
and
you
it's
see,
annoying me
we
out of the corner of my
discovered that a
eye.
flock of
So let's click.
bloodthirsty
Why is it
beasts
flashing
had climbed
orange?
the
It's
cliff
flashing orange in my
beyond.
friends list. Even though there's like no new developments there, so I don't know what that
None of
gets
us
doing.
was a match for them.
I love Steam.
But you, my lord, have proven your
Man.
strength many times over.
Wait, can I do Behemoth
Would
King?
you
Wasn't
drive them
Behemoth King
away
the
from
one that I
us?
need to, like, do all the hunt board stuff for? Sure, I'll add it to my inventory, but it's probably
course.
not happening, I don't think.
I'll see the path is
Sorry.
made safe.
Thank you, my lord.
A little bit of false promises
The
here,
grave is
sorry
in a
about
place
that.
called Witch Drop. To reach it, one must turn left at the Winged Wains, then follow the path.
I
around
think
to
so,
the
like,
lake
wasn't
deep
this something
into
that
the
came up
forest.
during a previous
Why
stream?
so
You asked if I was going to
fascinating?
do the super bosses, and so I
It was
looked up
where
the
she lived.
criteria for the super bosses, and
When our
one of them was,
ancestors
like,
first
the one that
came
you
to
unlock
Mysidia,
after you do all the
they
hunt
found
board
her
stuff.
there, in an old abandoned village,
Something or other.
and it was her heartfelt wish to return there.
Pretty sure that
So when
that
she
was a
passed
discussion
away,
topic.
my great grandmother had a stone erected for her
Sometime
on the
in
cliffs
late
overlooking the place
2024.
she once called home.
Because I've
How thoughtful.
it's still a new year here.
Well then, no time like the present. Left at the ships, then round to the right, you said.
Just so.
Well,
Thank you.
I'm not
once
going that
again,
way,
my
so I don't
lord.
need to memorize that.
I will join you at the grave anon.
You might be waiting a while. Beyond the grave. No money for it, even 0. Well, then I'm especially not doing it. See you later. Alright, I'll go accept this other one while I'm here anyway. Get all the quests into my inventory. Well, not all of them. There's other green ones in the world I haven't gotten to my inventory,
Yes.
but, is there something new here? Is that why there's the symbol on you? Sun bracelets. Well, it's new, but it's not better, necessarily. Reinforce. Okay, so that's the one that I have on right now. So that's got to be, like, my best thing right now, right? I have the bilious scales. I don't know what I got that from or how I farm more, but I may as well do this here, right?
Done.
There we go. And I need the timeless guard brace. Sure.
Will that do, yeah?
That's probably my best belt that I can have right now. And this is probably my best Vam brace that I can have right now, right? So yeah, then I do this,
Done.
like that. Because it's probably some of the best equipment I can
Do
get at
ya?
this point when it's like DLC stuff. So,
Well, next
heck
time
yeah.
then.
Oh yeah, now that I've done this DLC, isn't there like a time trial thing unlocked? I can't go that way for some reason. Where it's like after you beat DLC 2, there's a new thing that you can do where it's like time trials. Like, I don't think I would ever go all that hard on the time trials, but I at least want to know where they are and just have a little bit of a look-see, just so I'm showcasing like all the main content of the DLC. Yeah, Kairos Gate, that. Cascade orchestration roll. I'm getting it.
Here you are.
Give me the strength tonics
Well,
and the one stone skin.
if you're sure you need it.
Yeah, I'm the
why would
one
you
paying
get
you here.
tied?
It's in the main slab thing. Oh, so it'd just be at the hideaway and be a new feature added there. Gotcha. Well, that's convenient then. But yeah.
Here, mister, over here.
And I remember I looked up and found out that was the answer, and
We've gotta help
yeah, I
us. The
forgot.
village is in danger if someone doesn't do
I
something.
do remember that now.
Ugh, you should have seen it.
Stop. Take a deep breath and tell me everything.
Go defeat Leviathan
Starting
again.
with your name.
Sorry, my name's Eirik. When you went up to the Erevalvers with Miss Shula, well, I followed you.
You could have been killed.
Lady Shula told us you lot were great warriors, so I thought I'd be alright if I stayed close like. But then I lost track of you in the woods, and that's when I saw it.
The
So
hash slinging
what?
slasher?
A great, big, dripping, drooling monster. Spitting out great spouts of water it was, that were tearing up the ground and cutting down trees.
Spouts of water.
Completing the quest and nobody's
I don't
tool
recall
actually leads
seeing
into
anything like that in the
Masterless
forest.
Marauder, which is the quest for
Well,
Behemoth King.
I did.
Okay,
If
so
I
it's
don't
not
ever want to
all the
see
hunt
it
board
again,
stuff.
You'll get rid
It's
of it,
specific
won't you?
stuff. Wasn't Behemoth King the one that was like a reskin of other things, or am I going crazy?
All right. If this creature is as terrible as you claim, it could well pose a threat to the village.
So a couple
I'll
prerequisites.
see what I can
That's
do.
Farog, I can just do whenever.
Thanks, mister. It was over by the Swift one that I saw it. Maybe it's still there.
Then that's where I'll
It's a
start my
reskin.
search.
That's one of the 2 hardest
But
boss
this
fights in
time,
the game,
you're
huh?
going to stay here. Understood?
I wouldn't go through those gates for 1000 gil. Not with that thing out there. Good luck, though.
Lost in the woods. Sorry, kid, I don't think it's happening. I just wanted to get in my inventory while I was here. Because why not? Alright, what's the strongest cheaty Pete stuff that I can slap on here again? Like that definitely helps me here. The hardest boss of the game is Svarog, which isn't a reskin. Okay. Sort out. Let's scroll down to my Cheaty Pete stuff. What is the... Oh, yeah, and it puts, like, the new DLC stuff down here. Okay. Yeah, that's the limit break one. Increases HP regain potential. That one's handy. The way at which damage multiplier rises. Yeah, and brings it up to maximum 200%. That one I definitely need. Well, damage done using aerial attacks. Yeah. Indicates precise parry timing. This is the only one that it's like... I very clearly need if I want to maximize my damage. Here's a slowdown following a successful parry by 20%. That'd be really good if I, like, was good at parries, but... And I could practice with this thing when it shows the timing, but... Meh, I don't know. Maybe if I go around doing other things that aren't the hardest bosses. Yeah, I don't think I'm doing that here. Remember struggling with Behemoth King, though? It's a very fun boss, though. Remember the final crystal boss at the beginning? Basically that, but harder. Final crystal boss at the beginning? I actually don't. If I saw it, I'd probably remember it. What did it look like? One with a big meteor? I don't remember this. Yeah, like, that's pretty good when it comes to Healy stuff, assuming I don't take damage. For a bit. That'd be better than my potion thingamabob on. Like, that will definitely really help increase my damage during stagger. I mean, this will to an extent as well. It's not quite as important. The entrance of the city? Which city? I might just put on that for now. That's what I might just do here. City of the Final Crystal. So are we talking the beginning of the game or the end of the game? Kingdom of Walud. Because when you said the Final Crystal, I figured end. But then you said at the beginning. And I was very confused. Like, the boss of... Oh, you're saying like the beginning of like that section as we approach the crystal where it like leapt out of the water and onto the platform and we fought it? Like that? Is what you're referring to then? I would assume. And yeah, I spent my skill points there. I'm gonna need 2k before I can switch these ones around again. If I even still want to switch them at that point. Is the case. Okay, gotcha. So a harder version of that. Alright, so... yeah, I'm not gonna bother with the other stuff here. So, world map. Let's have a little bit of a look-see. Whoops, I was trying to zoom out there. L3 is zoom. Oh, no. L3, like that. Okay, gotcha. Here, let's go to the hideaway and check out this one mode. Let's have a look-see here.